Hello. Thanks.
You're all sure. I can shoot you right now after. That's what it was. You had some connection there. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was over my head 10 months ago, and it still is, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is a pretty chill one. This one won't be too bad.
Okay.
We haven't.
Always got to try.
We actually redid the one the first time we redid last night. It's the first time redoing it, so we redid it this last meetup.
Okay.
It's a bunch of more advanced different strategies. Some of us have
I love it now. I'm probably not advanced yet, but I mean, I used to be and I'll be again, so.
It's interesting because some of us come from the more black aspect.
Quite yet.
See, I lean a little more towards that.
Yeah. Well, one of my guys leads to the dark side, so he was a hacker for 12 years. Went clean and he did a lot of, it's really smart, but I was going to steal from my friend.
Yeah, I like to incorporate both strategies.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to on-page stuff, it's pretty much, it's similar to where most of it is kind of weird, quirky, text. But when it comes to building a link profile, that's where it really
Do you
does.
do WordPress sites? What do you do for sites?
Primarily, yeah. I have a few static HTML sites. I would love to do WordPress.
Yeah.
Just because it takes a lot of the on-page factors, it takes care of that for you automatically. Organization, having your page title be H1, like stuff like that. It's just automatic. Yeah.
Are you doing a lot of mobile?
Everyone's welcome to the pizza if you want some.
I should be. It should be. You know, to be
For the
honest,
next 2 years, you're not gonna be able to get seen.
it was mobile traffic. It's on the cost. It's about to take overtake.
57% less time on Google. That was their report. 57%. That's the first time it hit over 53.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming out.
It's nice to be inside where it's cool.
Yeah, it's too darn hot out there, for sure. Well, we'll kind of get started, even though I think a lot more people are going to show up, just because there's a super, kind of important thing happening at 1 o'clock. So we'll try to be wound up by 1. If anybody cares about the soccer game, which we kind of do, so we want to watch it. So we'll turn it on here, maybe. It'll be the second 2 hours of the week. So, everybody welcome. Search engine optimization. We do it once a month, every Tuesday at 12 o'clock. You're welcome to attend. We try to keep this meet pretty basic, although we go into some more advanced stuff every once in a while. A lot of white hat style tactics more than anything, and then the occasional black hat style stuff. If you're not familiar with what that means, white hat is pretty much complying exactly with what Google asks for and not doing anything to try and manipulate the results of the search engines. Black hat, it gets a bad rap, but it works lots of times. It's slightly manipulating the same processes that Google approves to kind of inflate your natural looking search engine profile. So mostly we're going to talk about white hat stuff in here. I might, even in this, I might show you a couple small black hat tricks that work every once in a while, but for the most part, it's going to be white hat stuff. Any questions from previous meetups or any search engine questions at all to start with, just in general? Anybody have anything we can try to answer? I'm Kenny. I run the company NeONBRAND. We work out of Work in Progress. Work in Progress is super awesome. If you have questions about it, Nicole right here at the front desk can tell you all about it. It's a shared working space. Our team has a room upstairs, but they have individual workspaces, tons of them. So you can come here and work out of this location, or they have another one half a block away inside the building on 7th and literally half a block away. Super awesome. Recommend it. We were here temporarily while our current building was getting renovated, and just in the last 2 weeks we decided that we were permanent. So we'll be here for the long haul. We really like it. So definitely recommend Work in Progress if you haven't been here before. Nicole can give you a tour afterwards too if you want to check out the rest of the place. A lot of cool stuff. So these guys are with my team. This is Spencer, Jamie, and Oscar, and then Wesley somewhere around here. You know, I'm sure going to the social media stuff. So between us and Ben and Tom and the other guys that do it all the time, we probably answer most of your questions. This is Ben and Tom up in the front. They're also slightly more advanced SEO guys, so they can help fill the questions as needed. Any other questions before we get started? Any other questions? Any questions? There haven't been any others yet. All right. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Jay.
Get some pizza. Okay, so I had my graphics guy throw this together this morning, so it's a little buggy, but it gets the idea. So today, what we wanted to talk about was kind of stepping into social media and how it affects your search engine ranking. So today, SEO stands for Social Engine Optimization. And here's the top 5 reasons. Basically, it's a little bit of a gray area as to whether or not social actually works in search engine land. The issue is that about 4 years ago, Matt Cutts, the guy who's over the spam department at Google, put out a video that said, yes, we take social into account. And then about 4 or 5 months ago, he said, no, we don't take social into account. So it's not, the issue is that we got Matt Cutts saying one thing, and then we got results where we're doing this social stuff and seeing it benefit us and our clients. So we're saying, no, it helps. There is something to that. So just going to kind of go with 5 reasons that we have here. We'll try to keep it around an hour. But somehow, no matter how short, I think it's going to go over lots of times. So, chime in with questions. So, I mean, Sergio also is a little more advanced, so if you have questions, he's a good resource.
No, nothing.
Okay, so first one, social sharing. So when you're building out your search engine optimization, when you're building out your website for search engines, I'm going to switch after I get past this one because there's a glitch on the other page. The animation just keeps repeating. When you're doing search engine optimization in the normal sense, you're constantly getting new links back to your site, backlinks. The quality of those links is important. It's better to have a few high quality links than thousands of low quality links. So you try to build this link profile that makes you look like a really awesome, reputable site. And the pure white hat way is you're going to write some awesome content, and it's going to be so good that thousands of people are going to write about it too and share back to your website. It's going to be a great, everybody's going to love everybody, and we're all going to benefit from it. Doesn't happen all the time, especially when you're a boring dentist office or you're a, whatever it might be. People just don't care. It's just not. It's just the truth of it. So there are other ways, some black hat stuff that I'll slightly touch on for a second. But as far as social sharing goes, it's becoming the new way of building links back to your website. There is a difference. So when you're talking about social media shares, you're saying on Facebook, somebody shared your link. On Twitter, somebody's actually putting your link onto these sites and saying, I just read this blog post, it's great, I love it. Those counts link back to your site. There's a difference. Lots of people put the like button on their website, and so you have, how many likes do you have on your page? From what I've read and what I know, if anybody else knows anything different, those provide a different kind of link back to your site that is not as valuable as a share link. Share links are much more relevant. I'll show you the difference. So there's Facebook share versus like. Let's see if I can find something. Oh, mouse perfect. Just find something else. So yeah, typically that's your like button. Yeah, there you go. Like versus share. It's a thumbs up versus the actual word share. Lots of times. The thumbs up is good and looks pretty on your website. The more of those, the better. Sure, why not? But the shares, in a social sense, in a link building sense, actually put the link onto Facebook, and it counts as a link back to your website. So similar with Google Plus. Google Plus actually doesn't have a like versus a share. It has just the plus button, which it creates a link on your website or on Google Plus. So it's actually acting like a share. So you want to make sure you have Google Plus. Lots of times with our clients, we'll look at their link profile, and some of the links that come back to their website the most are the Google Plus shares that we've done, which is super interesting to me. But Google obviously loves Google, so sharing your stuff on Google provides a
How do you get the feedback? What tool you use to know what the links are?
Webmaster Tools. Most of the time.
Webmaster
Yeah, we're just looking at links to your site. Yeah, links to your site, and
And it'll
The top one is usually google.com. And if you look into where the google.com, because it seems kind of weird to have a link coming from google.com, because that's the search engine. But if you open it up, it's actually coming from plus.google.com. So it's coming back from
But it's a
Google.
no follow, right?
No follow, yeah, but they're logging it as a link. So yeah, so sharing your stuff on social media. Write blog posts, share it. What's up, Chris? Lost seats? You good over there? No, come on in.
I didn't want to bother you.
Or you
Okay, good.
can do
What
blog
kind of rough
networks.
floor?
I know blog networks.
That's the last set of social. We'll save that for the other. Questions about social sharing? Actually, so here's some cool tools to use. One of the ones we use right now for share buttons. If you've heard of Dig for WordPress. We use WordPress a lot for anybody that's new. Mostly WordPress guys. We do other sites as well, but mostly WordPress. So we use this a lot. Dig, good plugin, adds the share buttons to your website. So, let's see, that's a little bigger here. So that's the button down the side here, down the sidebar there. The other one we use is called Share Adder, I think. Yes, this one. I really like this one for a specific reason. Different than these buttons here, which are the standard that come straight from LinkedIn, Google+, Twitter, and and the share buttons. Those, we've become so accustomed to seeing them on websites from a conversion or from an actual click perspective. We've become so used to seeing those, we tend not to even notice that they're on the page as a majority. The nice part about this is that it actually does custom buttons, which distract from the regular stuff that you always see on the website. So you can come down here and you can see these are actually performing the same function, but they look cool. They look better. They don't look like the standard social buttons. So
So it's a combination of simple share.
yeah, I'm using simple share adder. Actually, we can take maybe just note what buttons I'm talking about. I don't know about this. So Dig and simple share.
And does Google or SEO care? Do they care which one you use? Because
I don't care which one. I don't care which one. There's millions out there. You can search in there. They go on for days. So just to pick give us what we were hoping for. Any other questions on that?
How much overhead do those two?
How much? I haven't noticed any speed issues or
Do they
anything.
call outside the site every time?
Good question. I haven't checked, but after installing, we haven't seen any speed drops really. So I'm trying to see. I haven't noticed it. I have a look. Pretty sure. Good question. Any other questions? Social sharing, a new form of link building. So share your stuff on social media. There's other tools like Hootsuite, the little logo down there. If you haven't heard of Hootsuite, it's a super easy tool to use. It's cheap. Most of the time, I think it's even free for the first 5 accounts from use. There are better tools than Hootsuite. It's probably just the most basic, easy to use one. So you can set it up to share out your posts when you to all the networks at the same time. Oh, one other one we've talked about in previous meetups. This one does a lot of automation for you. Called NextScripts. The free version is really good. The pro version adds the ability to post to Google+. So it's a couple bucks, $30, something. I don't know. Let's see.
Is it like Hootsuite, right?
Kinda. No, not really. Because Hootsuite you can post any kind of status update or photos or whatever you want, and you have to do it manually. You can schedule it out on Hootsuite, but you have to do it manually. This you install on your blog, and then whenever you post a new blog post, you preset the settings beforehand. You say, okay, grab the title, grab the URL, and add, check out my awesome post or something like that to the share, and it'll automatically, to whichever network you've set up on the plugin, it automatically shares it out. It has way more features. I mean, I can go on for days. It'll retweet stuff for you on the schedule. It'll retweet it on a varied schedule, so it'll make it look more natural where you're saying, okay, tweet this every 2 hours, plus or minus 30 minutes. So it'll kind of move it around so that it's not seeming like you're just posting it over and over again.
They have an API, right?
They have an API, yeah, it's really slick. It's really slick. So NextScripts is a good one. So it's Dig, simple share URL, social share buttons and next groups.
Do you use more than one of them?
Use all three.
Use all of them at the same
I
time? Use
do.
them all?
I do. What do you think, Ben? Go ahead. Give your feedback.
I'm of the opinion you should use as few added plugins like this as possible. Like the one I use personally is Social Feather. If you're worried about it slowing down the load time with the page speed, it's a lot more of a lightweight script than say like, I don't know about these ones, but I used to use Add This, which I found really slowed down my page speed quite a bit.
Yeah, I'll just add this.
Would like type of site enter into your calculation? Like if it's already competitive, okay. If it's like the dentist, fine.
I still put social share buttons on pretty much every site that I create.
But what I'm saying, not the weight of whether to go to Social Feather or to Dig or whatever.
I'm not sure I understand.
You're using page speed as an indicator, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm always looking
if
at page
it's-
speed.
If it's the dentist, you know, you can sacrifice a little bit of that because it's not such a big if. Then if it's like.
Right, it's sort of like,
ish.
it's sort of like, is it worth the extra, you know, half a second it's gonna take to load the page to add these buttons? Then yeah, of course. In most circumstances, I would say, yeah. It would depend on the script.
So here's the reason we use all three. So the nice part about this one is that it provides the buttons 100% of the time that they read the post. Lots of times they don't read a whole post, so they see it on the sidebar, and there it is. At any moment they can say, I really like this, tweet, you know, boom, they're sharing the button. So it gives them that quick access to the share buttons. We do the second one because if they did read the whole post and they're a top to bottom kind of reader, I think Dig has the functionality. I could have used just Dig and stuck it down at the bottom, but I wanted the different looking buttons on my site, so I used the second plugin for that reason. And then the third plugin actually has nothing to do with showing those social buttons on the page itself. It's doing the auto posting to the social networks for me, which does a nice thing because automatically every time I do a blog post, I've already got some stats going on over here. It doesn't look like it's no man's land. It doesn't give me zeros down the stats every single time. So it gives me something that looks like stuff's happening.
It'll post to your Google Plus.
Yeah, the paper does. So I didn't see the price, but yeah, so it'll post to your Google Plus. It'll get you the pluses, the tweets, the shares, and the LinkedIn shares, and more. I mean, it does Pinterest. It does.
And it's one-time license, right?
One-time license, unlimited usage. So
What's that?
that's why
I know the free version will get Facebook. and
yeah,
Twitter.
it gets the money. Yeah, it doesn't do Google Plus. It doesn't do Twitter.
One-time fee for that?
What's that?
One-time fee or annual?
It's no, it's one time. So let's see. Blogger, Delicious, Facebook, Google Plus, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, WordPress. There might be more. 50%. No, $50.
Nice.
One time. So it's good. There's a free version, like I said, which will do a lot of that stuff. But one of
The
them,
one that's important that
it's
I'm
Google
finding
Plus.
is Google Plus.
It's Google Plus, and that's why we paid the extra.
No other links in a Google Plus link and a low image,
Yeah.
then it's on the first, it's in the first place.
That's why we invested in that.
This is a good
We
number.
really like the Google Plus stuff. So.
Maybe it's not.
Any other questions on that? We can get some more good ones.
Are you gonna,
Shit, man.
We'll put a blog post. I'm gonna share this infographic and we'll put a blog post with links.
are you gonna do are you gonna talk about Ivan's macro?
Nah.
That's advanced.
Yeah. There's other black hat stuff.
Social, it's.
There's black hat stuff. So what's his name again? Ivan. What is it?
Ivan Bloomer?
So this, let's see. So this guy is totally black hat. This is my one black hat plug. He has a really slick macro. So there's a site called YouLikeHits.com. Yeah, totally black hat. So here's the risk when I tell black hat. There is the risk that it will ruin everything. So don't do it unless you're willing to risk it, because it's a dark area that Google might punish you for. Things work and they provide value, but at any point in time, Google might say, hey, this doesn't work anymore, boom.
You know, the disclaimer's already on
It's probably all over it. Yeah, exactly. Anytime you look at any of this stuff, it's all over it.
Just put
So
a disclaimer on the side so you know.
seriously, so that's with every black hat stuff I mentioned. That is the thought process you have to understand. For this guy, just spend 2 seconds on it. Using this site, he has it's called iMacro. It runs automatically. You don't have to do anything, and it collects. Let me give you a little script for this plugin. It collects points on this, and you build up points. You build up all these points, and it does it automatically using its macro. And then you can reuse the points to get different things that they've offered here: Twitter followers, YouTube, pinned, website hits, fine, lots of good stuff.
Are you running it on a VPS by any chance, the macro, or are you already?
No, well, we're running on a server with proxies set up, but not on VPS. And we don't run it all the time. We don't run it all the time because we don't want it to. The site shuts down users that run it 24/7. So we run it for a couple hours a day.
What if you use this on a like-named website and then direct that to your main
It
website?
actually, as far as like if you have
WeCurve.net versus WeCurve.com.
and you point it at WeCurve.net.
Point at WeCurve.net and then point WeCurve.net.
There, I saw something about that. It says, let's see, it did actually, that works in a lot of Black Hat stuff. But this one, I want to say I saw it somewhere that said no redirecting traffic must be the real page that you're directing to.
They had to remove Facebook too a while back.
Yeah.
Facebook tried to take legal action
Yeah.
against them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, that's the one Black Hat plug for that section. I think,
Yeah, it's social, right?
yeah, no, it's good. What?
It's social.
It's good.
About social
It's
stuff.
good. No, I'm not complaining. That's a good one. Look into it with that disclaimer. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Make social sharing easy, which we've kind of talked about already. Actually, good. We already hit point 2. Customize social sharing buttons and messages to facilitate easier sharing. So when you have those buttons, that's why I like the custom buttons that look slightly different. And with this plugin, you can actually upload completely custom images. They give you like 10 or 15 unique ones, and then you can add your own completely custom ones if you like. Just provides that extra attention to the buttons that don't get there when it's the typical shares and likes. And then obviously, in a purely white hat sense, write as good a content as you can. There's lots of tactics that can be learned about how to write. Nowadays, people like real people, so use words like I and you. We talk to them like you're a human. It's okay to use slang to some extent. You don't want to make it unintelligible, but make it sound human. That's the kind of stuff that gets white hat shares, if you're going to get white hat shares. So, questions about that? We can have a whole thing on content, but
Even if you're writing corporate stuff,
Yeah,
to use
yeah.
I.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you can, you try to set up a personality for the business, a voice, and that voice just kind of carries through all the posts and all through the pages, and it can be a person. And people connect with that, especially in big corporate ways. I would think where people are used to hearing a business talk, and you go personal with them. I think it'd be a way better reaction. You already have the exposure because you're corporate. And
It's a tough sell though.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. To a client, it'd be a tougher sell.
It's
For
a tough
sure.
sell.
And there's a whole review process that would probably come into play as far as like, is that good enough to sound like me and all that kind of stuff. Definitely works better in a sharing sense. Good question. Any other questions?
Yeah, the articles done.
Okay. All right. So we got some Black Hat stuff over here. So there's lots of ways to generate articles. We'll just plug we'll plug a few. Which one do you want to talk about?
Just get articles done. That's the one I
Get articles done.
Yeah, to get content articles done. You
So-
can get a really good thing, a really good piece for $10, really. And then just go in 5 minutes, make it, and yeah. No, get articles done. Then which one is it?
Oh,
There's
okay.
one site that.
I need articles.
Get articles done.
There's at least a dozen of them.
Yeah, there's lots of them. Articles on there, get articles done. Fiverr. There's lots of places you can get content if you aren't having your own content.
These guys are.
If you're doing your own website and not the client, this is more for people that are trying to do it for lots of people. But if you're working on one website and it's your baby and you have one blog, write your own content. There is something to be said about using a second person to actually post it for you. So maybe you've come up with the concept, you crank out under 1,500 words, and you have this great piece, no pictures or anything yet, then you give it to your assistant and say, okay, now make sure it's spelled right, add a couple pictures, and post it to the blog for me. I mean, that's just a wise business strategy probably. Spend your time coming up with content, have somebody else take the 20 to 30 minutes to actually post the content for you. But regular content, if you're doing it in mass and content, there are lots of sites out there. This is just one. If you haven't heard of Fiverr, I'll just plug that real quick because that pretty much applies to everything we're talking about today. Fiverr, you get pretty much anything you want for $5, content included.
No disclaimer? Come on.
It's black hat again, so use it at your own risk. But it's out there. There's lots you can do. All those social shares and everything else, all over Fiverr. Questions, comments about any of that? Okay. Social reputation. So this is becoming more and more important. So there's stuff called coming with words, follower wonk or
Clout.
clout. That's the word I was looking for.
With a K.
Clout score. So, is this it? Looks different. Have they redone it?
Yeah, there you go.
Clout score. So it takes into account all kinds of different factors and comes up with this number that says you are an influencer in your area of interest. Obviously, here's some of the top ones. Good old JB and OB. BO. Oh boy. Anyway, so as you become engaged with social media and you're producing highly valuable content and you're sharing things that are relevant to your niche, you can start generating this clout score. That's one perspective. So you want to have a good clout score. You want to be able to tell people things about your stuff and have them follow you or like you or do whatever it's going to be, like your posts, like your tweets, retweet, all that good stuff. And that'll increase your clout score. On the flip side of that is you want to be connected to people with the clout score, the high clout score. Shares from somebody like Barack Obama or Justin Bieber to your site, not only for a purely traffic sense with somebody with a lot of clout like that, but those links are considered to be valuable in the minds of the search engines. It's bull, I believe. Others believe too, but Google won't admit it. So you want to be not only have a higher, good Twitter or good social presence, authority on social networks, but you want to be involved with people who are and get shares and likes and follows from them. There are black hat ways of doing this. You can kind of fluff up your own social profiles using software that's out there. There's a lot of stuff for that. Fiverr, we'll just say Fiverr. Fiverr can do it. It's a place you can start. So, questions about your score?
So can you just put their names in something?
So in a purely white hat sense, you're going to be just a social media feed. You're going to go out and you're going to follow everybody that is relevant to you. You're going to talk to them. One of the interesting things about Twitter that I've only recently started enjoying, for the longest time, Twitter escaped me and I just could not figure out why anybody would want to use that social network. It has become really cool to me in a sense of like going to meetings and events where people of authority are talking or presenting and shooting out a quick tweet to that person. It's amazing how you can quickly connect with somebody. They'll tweet you back, all of a sudden you're having a conversation, you're connecting with them instantly, where without something like Twitter, you can't do that. So you want to go out and you want to build these relationships with people more than anything on the various social networks. Be involved, comment, retweet their stuff. Sergio's really good at it. He's with all the black hat guys. He's buddies with all of them, and they all love him. So now they send him stuff. I mean, there's just a relationship there that you can build with professionals in your niche that will help benefit you in the long run. As far as, hey, you never start off a relationship by saying, hey, you like what I like, and I just wrote this post, share it for me. Not gonna work. But if you started off by saying, hey, what's up? You're awesome. I really appreciate all the posts you do and everything else. And then you say that again 5 more times, and then after the 6th time, you say, by the way, I have a post I want you to share. If you ever have a second, please go ahead and do that for me. No pressure. You know, kind of building up that relationship first without asking for any favors is definitely important. You'll burn your bridge.
Cloud started, your score would go up heavily depending on engagement, not necessarily like
Followers and
links.
stuff. Oh yeah.
Followers and save articles because we have our own content.
Interesting.
Are you a social media?
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm based on it. So we have our own content,
Uh-huh.
and we don't share cloud suggested content, so that it'll drop. Like, going back to the whole, like, if Barack Obama tweets at you, and it does play some, basically anybody who's higher than you,
Uh-huh.
you help sort influence, right? But at the end of the day, it really doesn't. I haven't found cloud to be valuable
In a
any
social,
sense whatsoever.
yeah, do you do much search engine optimization stuff?
Not me personally, I mean, people on my team, but as far as like,
Yeah.
the cloud score itself, other
Right.
than getting ridiculously stupid perks.
Uh-huh,
It doesn't
uh-huh.
really, like, I have a personal cloud score of 75 or something, and I don't get many out of it.
For sure.
So,
For sure, it's more in this sense, in the search engine, social engine optimization, it's more providing a valuable link back to
yeah,
yourself.
definitely with the links purely,
Yeah.
like, that's why I'm saying,
Sure.
they revamped, so it's like, if you're influential in zombies, they'll just give you tons of articles to just get, yeah, post this and post this and post this, and they're all zombie related, you don't have to read them, and if that's what they want, right, be tweeting out all day, basically.
Question about that? Social reputation. A lot of people will set up specific profiles on Google specifically, and use those as your authority figure. Usually it's, if you're talking about a local small business, you're gonna pick the boss or whoever wants to be the face of the company. You set up their Google Plus profile, you start building up their circles, you start making it so they actually have a relationship with people in these networks, and then you can start sharing your content and get some valuable links that way.
I have a question about, can you now, I haven't tried, but maybe you, can you now link up Google, like a business page as authorship or not? Yeah.
No, it's just, you can only do, humans can be authors and pages can be publishers, but they can't switch.
I have a lot of trouble with clients that they don't wanna connect, but it's like, it's such a low.
Yeah, you have local specific.
I mean, that I've jumped the page just from,
It's a nice program.
from good authorship.
Yeah, there's a lot we can talk about with Google Plus authorship.
But
Actually,
I mean,
we've done a previous
I'm
post
saying
on.
about the client has the problem of being linked to.
So lots of times you create not them people, so that it's somebody else's name and do all that stuff. A little more black hat probably than.
I'm just like trying to get feedback from
Yeah.
people that.
Yeah. Either we do it with them or we do it with somebody else. Somebody's gonna get an authority profile on their website. Cool, question? Okay. Looks like we've already talked about the next one. Let's see, gonna go short. Let's see, what more I got? Okay, good. Back to the authorship, we'll spend a half second more on that. I'll show you how authorship works. Oscar was just setting up some of these this morning. So basically with an authorship profile, you have to have a Google Plus account. There's a couple ways you can set up your authorship profile or connect it to your content. One of the ways is by under your personal page or under the page you're working on. If you go to the About page on Google Plus and then links, you can go to Contributor 2 and you can see you can add, let's see what I'm doing, edit links. Add a custom link. You add the name of the site, the URL of the site. First step. Second step, in WordPress, makes it pretty easy for you. We use the Ghost SEO plugin a lot. Is that going back there too? Oh. Actually, just found that on the other day. Gonna test that, but for now, this one works good. You go to the user profiles. So on mine, we go to administrators. So whoever's going to be your writer, after you set up the link here, you will take the Google Plus link right here, copy that, go back into WordPress, pick the person who's going to be the author, scroll down the page after installing the Yoast plugin, and you paste in the link right here in Google Plus. Save it. Then, if you write an article, just change this one over here real quick. URL now is we'll see, hopefully, all those well. That I am the author on that page. So
Sometimes
I've just noticed like in the past 3 days it stopped showing up on like everybody's. So I don't know what.
The picture's gone?
On the tester. Usually on the tester it shows all the time.
It's gone for everybody everywhere.
It's on its way out.
Oh, yeah.
Google announced about a week ago that they're removing authorship pictures. The only author pictures are going to be shown is in Google News. And that's it.
That explains.
It's gone. You're still going to have your authorship. It's still going to display your name. You're still going to get the benefits of authorship. But the picture's gone, which a lot of people are really unhappy about that because they found that picture would increase their click-through rate in the search engine like tremendously.
Stand out quite a bit more.
Yeah, well, people were getting authorship just for that purpose alone, not because they wanted to engage in the Google Plus community.
Which may be unfair too, if you're just bored and not with a good picture.
Right.
That's not fair, so I understand what Google's.
Yeah. That's
What is
interesting.
what is that benefit you're talking about, the benefit of getting off? What is that?
What is the
the-
real one?
I don't mean the picture, I mean, what is the benefit of having your name on?
part of ranking.
So before.
Some people suspect, and Matt Cutts has sort of hinted at this but not admitted to, that there is a factor known as author rank where they're taking into account not just the site itself, but who actually is creating the content on the site in determining where to rank that site in the search results.
So as a totally separate ranking factor, so there's like your link profile, there's your social profile, there's your author profile.
I mean, it's not like a fact
Right.
that it's a suspected part of the Google secret sauce that we don't know about.
Which would be interesting now that the photos are gone, because a lot of that was attributed to this photo thing that was getting click-throughs and higher traffic ranking or higher traffic to the site and everything else. So
This isn't something you're doing for, let's say, the client, right? You're not putting your name on their blog posts.
no,
I wouldn't do that.
You typically create a persona that's all about, if it's a dentist's office, this person writes about dentist stuff all the time and writes really good stuff about dentists.
Gotcha.
And in your sense, Vegas, always writing about Vegas. So this
I mean,
is-
we have multiple authors in our content team. I'm just trying to figure out if it's in our best interest to
Each
basically
person who
showcase
writes-
each person that
Each person who
writes
writes should have
Yes.
their own Google authorship
Right,
profile.
correct.
versus just the brand itself.
Yes, there's both. So like on my site, actually on this page, you can see here, I have authorship set up. If you scroll down, I have my publisher set up. So my publisher is connected to my business page.
Right.
The page itself is connected to my author page. So like you have your Vegas.com Google Plus page that's on every single page of your website.
Right.
But then on the blog post, whoever wrote it would have their own authorship profile connected up because they would become experts in that niche and would connect them up.
Right, if there's multiple authors on the same site, you're going to want to integrate all of them, not just have one author blanket for the whole site.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, is there any advantage to a nom de plume in these situations? I mean, like a.
Plume, that sounds French.
Well, Mark Twain is different than Samuel Langdon Clemens. He created a name
Yeah.
which became a person, and people gravitated toward that, and it was a different.
Kind of talk about that, it's kind of more black hat, when you can't get somebody to actually approve them having an authorship profile, you can set up an
Like
anonymous person.
adopting a pen name,
Right.
so to speak.
Yeah, you can do it.
I don't think, in my experience, it's enough to simply have a Google Plus profile attached
yeah.
to a site. I think that Google Plus profile actually has to be engaged. Like if you're sharing things on Google Plus related to the things that you're writing about in your niche, I suspect that helps you. There's been a few case studies, a few marketers out there that have done studies on this, and they've found the similar sort of results. But Google's not going to come out and say, oh yeah, get an authorship profile and share lots of stuff and we're going to boost your ranking.
Well, what I mean by that is that if you're already engaged, if you're already using a external writer, or 10, or 100, or whatever, and you don't want to actually attach that to somebody in your office, because then if it turns out to be, bad in some way, you can discontinue it without problems. And so if you create an external person and you use external, somebody in Bangladesh is writing for you in the Philippines or whatever else, you can increase that fictional character, and they can write as often as you want to pay somebody to do it.
I think you have to look into the Google Plus terms of service as well,
Uh-huh.
in determining whether or not you're allowed to do that. I'm not exactly sure about that.
I think in the bigger sense, what Ben's even touched on just for a second is, yeah, you can get away with setting up a Google Plus profile. I think in the terms of service, it might say them, but people operate Google.
I'm sure they don't want fake profiles.
Right, they don't want fake profiles, so you might get eventually picked up somehow. But the bigger deal is, just having a Google Plus page isn't necessarily mean you created a separate person. Like they're looking and saying, oh, this person has a Facebook, do they have a Twitter? Is this person alive? Can we search this name and see that people are showing up? Like when you search Kenny Elison, that's my name. You see a lot of stuff, pictures of me, you know, like this is a person. They know that this is a real person because it's all over the place. If I create a guy's Google Plus page and that's all he has in the whole world, not gonna be as good as having a real person actually.
I see. That,
Yeah.
so you're saying one of the downsides is doing an incomplete person?
Yes.
Not
that it won't work necessarily, it's just that somebody with a real person will go a lot further in providing a good author profile than creating somebody at like Google Plus page, and that's all they have.
Daniel Tan calls it social graph SEO. There's some papers out there.
What do you think?
Social graph, Daniel Tan, tried Daniel Tan, he's one of the social graph.
Daniel, D-A-N?
This one?
Knowledge graph, yeah, it's knowledge graph. That's.
Is this one you want?
I have he brought it out as PDF for like $20 a while ago, like 2 years ago, but it's still super valid. It's just, I'll see if I can find it.
I think the main takeaway is Google wants to identify authorities in a particular niche. And one of the easiest ways for them to do that is for them to see if you're engaged in the Google Plus communities related to that particular niche or market or whatever. It allows them to sort of weed out who's the anonymous John Doe behind the screen and who's the MD blogging about dentistry. They want to identify who's who in relationship to the sites that they're ranking.
Yeah, not to find a point here, there are people who have multiple identities because if they talk, I'm an astrologer and a physicist, okay? Those two, you can't get more empathetic than that. So if I do something on one subject and I try to do something on the other subject, I'm going to become disbelieved in both. You understand? So if I don't take up a persona, the whole procedure is going to fall apart.
It's an issue. Like it's something that I don't think Google has addressed.
I'm also a libertarian. I mean, you add that in.
I'll take that.
And,
It's a lot about the man, but
and
let's keep things along.
Yes, which in Vegas will get you killed.
Whether or not they can, how they would go about identifying a single person as an authority across multiple
Flip your IP. clear
niches,
your
that
cache.
I'm not sure.
Flip your IP address,
Yeah.
clear your cache, and go and proceed.
Yeah.
I have 30-something identities,
Cool.
Facebooks, people. That guy, that football player that fell in love with that girl on Facebook and all that. Remember that guy?
Mhm.
That was I was her. He was in love with. No, but I'm telling you, it could still be done. It could still be done. So no, I mean, it's just literally.
Into the key.
There's a lot of holes. There are a lot of holes in the system. I mean, you can create a lot of identities.
If you do that and you happen to mistakenly log in
Be
to both
careful.
accounts
They
on the
will
same
be.
IP one time, they are forever linked because Google knows that these two authors logged in from the same IP address,
They know.
and
Whoa.
you're not going to separate them.
Right.
So they want to make those. They want to know who's who, and who's talking,
Yep.
and what they're talking about, and whether or not they know what's
And
going on.
they start to know your voice. Like they know that if you wrote something, this is how you're gonna sound, this is the content, these are the words you're gonna start using. Or if you have somebody else write for you every once in a while, it's gonna sound different, it's not gonna sound the same, it's gonna have different
Yeah, I don't know what
structures.
you're
Right.
So
It's like,
It's scary, but it's still an algorithm. I mean,
Yes.
just to give a distinction to the group as an added value, one of my mentors just told me, dude, you're just all you're doing, the basic concept of what you're doing is it's an algorithm, and you're finding ways to play around the algorithm. That's all you're doing in this game. That is like the basic concept on there.
Yeah, if you're just gonna do 2, I wouldn't worry about them being linked. It's
Yeah.
not, pin names are not a problem.
Right.
If you're gonna do 5, you better be able to flip your IP, clear your cache, have some tools in place.
I have a gal that I'm doing a course on, the BUI attorney that I showed up. She has 3,000 Google data under its MIP. She hasn't had problems. But that's, she's very blasé about it.
Did you say 3,000? No.
Yeah.
She has 3,000 different IDs.
Wow.
Google IDs.
What if you're managing?
Well, I mean, she's spamming millions and millions and millions and millions.
Yeah.
What if you're like, logging into multiple different Gmail accounts, because you're managing them for, that's not a problem. I mean, is that what we're talking about?
Kind of. If those
That's
end up
what
being
we
your
do.
operating
G+,
system files.
YouTube, and Gmail are all integrated into one account.
But I mean, like, say I don't know, say like you're managing different, social
Fine.
accounts, and you need to log in Gmail in order to manage that.
It's not a problem. Just don't use those as Google authorship. Don't use those as
Well, here's
Google authorship.
here's my concern. Like I adopt a lot of techniques that Google might frown upon. Okay, I'll be honest.
That was almost PC saying
Yeah.
that PC.
And I don't want my authorship from one site connected to an authorship from another white hat cookie cutter type site. One where I'm following the rules. I don't want those associations to be made in case one of my sites is, maybe is identified as a site that Google doesn't want ranking highly in their search algorithm. I don't want those sort of connections to be made. I think if you're doing black hat stuff, you should definitely err on the side of paranoia a little bit.
Caution.
Yeah, you need to err on the side of caution, and I wouldn't recommend anyone first learning about this stuff to delve into that area. I would sort of go the white hat route
Right.
from the
And if
start.
you're doing mostly white hat stuff, so
Same
I
like
went
I-
to a conference not too long ago, and Dane, Search Engine, Dan Sullivan was there, and he talked about how the day of the SEO is dead because Google, we're Google's worst enemy. But the day of the search engine publisher, so a different spin on the same kind of work, is well and thriving. So if you're doing a white hat sense kind of an approach, Google's not going to ding you for logging into the same account necessarily. I don't believe, as long as you're playing by the rules. If you're logging in and you're publishing good content, unique content, and you're trying to stay within the guidelines, you're not going to get super punished. So I don't think it's something you have to worry about on a small scale sense. Once you get into managing, 100 people and they all have their special profile and you want to make sure they're all separate and that kind of stuff, then you start worrying about it a little more. But in a small scale, under 5, 10, even, probably not going to be a big deal. You're probably fine. So, yeah.
There's also the logic factor too. How many people can live in your house? Working in a
Yeah,
small
exactly.
office. So the logic is, well, it's not impossible that 5 people could be logging in from the same IP with different Gmail accounts. So that would be common.
Yeah.
30 would be a bad.
One of the other things I took away from that conference was, yes, it's an algorithm, but it's controlled by humans, and it's humans that are making the decisions on what is good and what is bad. So, moral compass is 9 times out of 10. If it doesn't feel like you're doing something bad, you're probably not. If it starts to get a little hazy, like, oh, I'm doing all this fancy stuff, you probably need to be a little more careful in how you do things.
I
So.
think, I think it's just somebody building a moral code around it. It's just really doesn't exist. I mean, for real. Just the more I delve into all this, it's just freaking Mad Cox building your moral code.
Yeah.
It's just freaking.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that.
You know what I mean? It's.
But in a white hat sense, your moral compass is probably pretty safe. Because that's what they're going for. So, cool. That was a lot of good discussion on authorship that I didn't really think we had. So, any other questions on that? Last but not least, YouTube is a video sharing site. Get that, it's social. So, anybody familiar with YouTube? YouTube, if you haven't heard, is the second largest search engine to Google. A lot of people are on. A lot of people use it. hours of video a second, maybe we wrote that 100 hours of video a minute are uploaded to YouTube all the time. So you need to be on YouTube. You need to be sharing videos. White Hat Sense, you should create nice little videos, even if they're shot with your iPhone. iPhone shoots 1080 video, and you can do some pretty cool effects on there. I'm recording this whole thing with my iPhone up there. You'll see later what it looks like. You can do good stuff with just an iPhone. So produce regular good content on there, and you will reap the benefits. One of the small tips when you're doing a YouTube video in a White Hat Sense, your first line of your description should be your URL every time. That's the only line that shows up without hitting the show more button. If you're talking about White Hat Sense, it's a no follow link, so it doesn't necessarily provide a ton of value to your website. But if somebody's watching your video, the first thing they're going to see is your website, they might click it and go on the next page and browse around your site. Rather than starting off, here I will describe how to rank a website. Stick your link up first, then go into your description. Also, when you're sticking your link there, make sure you type http:// before your link, because it's not clickable unless you have the http:// if you just put NeONBRAND.com, not clickable, doesn't provide a click to your website. They can type it in or copy and paste it, but it's easier to get that right off the bat. So use YouTube. Everybody's there. I probably watch at least one YouTube video a day that is shared by somebody, if not more. Just in my regular goings, not even for the business side of things. So that's YouTube. Questions about YouTube? There's lots of Black Hat stuff you can do there. Sergio was just showing some crazy Black Hat stuff where this lady got her video ranked in Arizona.
43,000 backlinks already in 1 month, and it's still dominating.
Totally Black Hat, but it shows up at the top of the search results. Google has an interest in having videos on there. Google owns YouTube, if you didn't know. So they have a high interest in making your YouTube videos show up in the search engine results too. So if you have a really awesome video that has that kind of stuff, that is sharing or that link is going to it. Huh?
It's not even awesome.
Because they use Black Hat.
Totally gaming the system.
We're going to start a second group called Black Hat SEO by Sergio.
Hey, that's kind of really, seriously, make it a second part of the month.
It's true, we could do something because there's a ton to learn there, and it works in a lot of senses, but it may not work permanently, and you may not want it on your own site because at any given moment it will burn to the ground, and you will not have that website anymore.
Never on Slack.
Yeah. So.
You may have a lot more visitors.
Seriously. We've done it before. We did one back a while ago that Sergio ran, and he was doing well. I learned a ton, so it was good. But it does, it works. This YouTube stuff, you've seen YouTube show up in the search results. What's that one called? Do you remember what the search was? Arizona
DUI ad serving, and the AdWord cost is $200.
Yeah.
Of course, it wouldn't show up one time. Is that over there?
The Phoenix DUI.
That's it right there.
Ad serving. No, that's not the one. Phoenix, yeah.
How do you spell Phoenix?
Yeah, that's
right there.
She just goes after high ranking keywords.
So this lady's using it kind of as an affiliate source, so she's gathering leads and selling them.
How did she get her phone number into that title?
That's just the description line.
Oh, really?
Video.
But she's not even an attorney.
She's not even an attorney. She just ranked the video. She's getting calls. She's selling all.
Pay her call model.
It's totally gaming the system. There's 3 or 4 pieces that she's using from Google.
It's one picture. What do you need a DUI attorney?
I like to see the link profile for this site.
43,000
I'm going
backlinks
to.
that you can see on Ahrefs.
On Ahrefs.
There's probably 80,000 to it. You know what I mean?
Probably GSA server.
It's GSA, yeah. But she has her own special software. And her code, it's closed. The course is closed. Like they limit it because they use certain lists and everything. So the lists are very like super Black Hat SEO guys, and then they close it down.
It's a custom. She used a custom list.
Yeah, and certain other things. It's a special software.
That's on the Black Hat side of things. But in a White Hat sense, your videos can still rank, believe it or not. Certainly, if they are good, high quality stuff, they can share and people like it, all that good stuff. So, fill-ins next month. We're gonna have to do Sergio, Black Hat, and SEO. That's fun.
Yeah,
That's interesting stuff.
Come under your
It's
own.
interesting stuff. Come at your own risk.
Dude, I have not had I'm not trying to get.
Just wait till the next black and white animal release comes out. Animal statements. Zebras, that's the next one we're calling.
Hey, can you go back to that channel? I just want to see your channel
The actual.
and subscribers. Okay. Do you think subscribers make a big difference?
Sir Jim?
Yes and no, it's
I
part
mean,
of
they
it.
do
You
have a
can
ton of views.
What about views? Views are.
Total on our whole channel.
It's, the thing is, okay, on our whole channel, because she works tons of videos like that. See, it's all like freaking videos.
That's not a lot of subscribers. That's really not a lot for a $200.
But it's the backlinks. It's 40. It has
It is backlinks,
43,000
it's right.
backlinks. It's 43.
I
think
lost
that's
a
just
lot of
right.
YouTubes. I had a bunch of them ranking, and just one day last month or something like that, maybe it was almost 2 months ago now. It's like I got 12 out of 40 something now that are still first page. The rest of them are gone. They're still on YouTube, but they're not ranking. So I don't know what I did different, but I thought it was some type of an update.
I think it's funny how I like GSA serving training.
Yeah, why not? Write it down.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
Did you guys
This is a
have-
tool, GSA Sir is a tool you can use for black hat stuff. You can Google it later. Or we'll have it next one for crying out loud. Cool, that's kind of all I have, which is right on time for the soccer game to start. So, anybody have any questions about any of that? Sorry, a lot of new faces that are getting bombarded with a lot of information. In a very simple sense, this will be on I'll share it on the Meetup thing, and we'll add in some of the links that we shared so you can look at it later. The video will be up later today, hopefully. So,
Do you wanna
catch it all again. What?
Do you want an announcement for jobs?
From
So
me?
if anybody needs just to contribute to the group.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So I just did a certification at a company called dumtruckwork.com. They are, it's in beautiful Santa Barbara. They're looking for developers. I told them I would pass the word around in Vegas. They're like growing like gangbusters. It's a content relationship management system. It's a piece of internet software. That's awesome. But they're looking for developers, so if anybody's looking for a job, just let me know and I'll refer you personally. I have good ties with the company now, so just throwing it around. If anybody needs it.
cool.
No, I don't have, what's your handle here?
SEO.
/ Sergio Chavez. Just / just that be / Sergio Chavez. Just look me up on Facebook.
That'll do.
I don't work on my sites. I have too much time.
Any other beginner questions? Don't worry if it seems like you should know something. I'll answer any questions that came up, and there was a lot of more advanced stuff talked about, but totally comfortable answering the simple questions too. But you don't know what a word was that we used. Throw it out there. SEO stands for search and conversation. Throw that out there. I hate acronyms, but I use them all the time. So if you didn't understand one, we can answer that to you. Otherwise, hang out, get some more pizza, discuss, whatever, take off, whatever you want to do.
What is built to?
We'll kind of wrap it up.
Hey, thank
Thanks
you,
for
Kenny.
coming.
It's really been interesting. Okay, this time I understood probably 10%.
Awesome, we're
First time-
improving. Robin came to our very first SEO meetup almost a year ago. October will be a
Yeah.
year.
And it
was you and one other person.
Yes,
And
and I
look at how
didn't
we've grown.
understand a thing, but it was very interesting. It was fun.
Next time.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, well, thanks for coming. Glad you picked up 10%.
Yeah.
Watch the video 10 more times and we get rid of the
Start.
and take care of it. Cool.
I brought my trainer with me. She's gonna explain it all on the way home.
Awesome.
She knows
Perfect.
all this, yeah.
Perfect. We do it every first Tuesday at 12 o'clock here. Some people have asked for a night class too. We get a pretty good turnout now, so I prefer to do it during the day, but we might throw a night class in every once in a while. So, any other questions or come up
Okay.
after? We'll be around. So
Maybe alternate, like next month, do the evenings?
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Can we contribute to the pizza?
No, no worries. We got to take care of it. It's our treat.
Internet BS. shopping. I like to
Oh, you need finance. I'm straight.
Which probably still need to be both. That's absolutely. Why works in three or why like, you know, it's random demand. Has nothing to do with that. It'll be fresh domain, fresh domain. No, you don't have any value in that. But you can find on make sure you have a domain going on. You know, one of those sites on page 10,